and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to give you a bit of a life update, going to tell you about my favorite books of the year, and I'm also going to build this Book Nook Wonderland garden house while I do that. I don't know if I will be able to build this whole thing today because I have never done that before and I have no clue how long it takes. But anyways, I'm going to open it and I'm going to try to open it and then I'm going to see how long it will take and maybe I have to make a cut here. I don't know yet. Actually, let me get some scissors. This is not working. Okay, now we got it. So I got this garden house thing, which I guess is somehow like a miniature build. I don't even know how you would call that. I got it for my birthday. Friends of mine gave it to me and I just think it's so cool. I'm so glad that I have friends that actually give me stuff that I like. It's just so nice. Okay, so you have to assemble this and I guess it's made out of cardboard and it says 14 plus. So I'm actually pretty positive that I can do it. It's made out of plywood, MDF board and paper. Yeah, so I got this as a decoration for my shelves from my friends and yeah, actually that is a really nice gift. And I got a few bookish gifts for my birthday and I was really happy about that. Oh my god, this looks so cute. And actually my birthday is probably a good start to explaining what my year kind of was like. Because a lot of friends came over for my birthday and that was something new to me because I just never invited that many friends to come visit me because I always thought like, oh my god, they have to travel so far and nobody would even come. And this year I just decided to go for it and invite them and then just see what's going to happen. And actually a lot of people came and I have a 1-bedroom apartment and we all stayed in my flat, so it was like this giant sleepover and it was the most fun thing that I've done in a really long time. And that was all while I was also actually writing my thesis and working on my thesis. So yeah, I'm really glad that a lot of my friends who were also writing their thesis at the same time found the time to come and spend it with me. Oh, you actually have to glue stuff together. Wow, that actually looks like it might take longer than I expected it to, but that is totally fine. I actually just realized that it probably wasn't the best idea to start this pretty late at night, but we are going to do this anyway. So it comes with like little cutout thingies like this, and you actually have to take them out of you have to like braid them out of here. And then you have to assemble this and it will turn into this little garden house, I guess. And it's like a decoration for your shelves. And I think it looks pretty cute. And it's just exactly my aesthetic. And I think it's very I don't know how my friends actually knew that I would like this so much, or if it was if they just have a good sense for it, or if they actually knew, or if it was just like a coincidence that this is something that I like that much. But yeah, that was my friend that I lived with when I stayed in Reading last year for my semester abroad. And he was my flatmate and he and his girlfriend came to visit on my birthday. And yeah, that was really nice to get to see them again, because a lot of the people that came for my birthday had to drive. Actually, most of them came by train and they had pretty long ways to travel. I think some even for like half a day. So like one of them I think took even 6 hours or longer. And that was, yeah, just really nice that not that people have to travel that far, but that people took the time to do it. Okay, so I guess you just push these into each other and then it's supposed to stick. Okay. So obviously then writing my thesis and getting my thesis done took up quite a lot of my time. I actually already started doing the research for that in the beginning of the year, so around February, and then it just continued until September, end of September, when we finally had our final oral assessment, and before that we had to hand in our thesis. And because I studied media design, we also always have to do a practical part, and I did an animated video, which was a good decision in the sense that I really like animation and I really like the outcome of it, but not good in the sense of how much time it took me to finish it. I did it in a teamwork with one of my friends who I study with, and yeah, it was just a lot of work to finish it, because we did it in hand-drawn animation, and if you know anything about that, you need to draw an insane amount of pictures for animation to work and to get a film. And our film was 4 minutes long, and you need 12 pictures per second. So if you can do math, then you can calculate how many pictures that are. A lot. Of course, you can repeat some because you can loop stuff, and yeah, but still tons of pictures. But we did it, and we didn't have too bad time management, I would say. And of course it was a lot, but I was never so stressed that I thought we can't do it. And we actually finished a bit before, so we still had enough time to do our presentation and everything. But of course the mental load was very high, which is also why I didn't manage to film any YouTube videos during that time. And yeah, it was just a lot. Pushing this stuff out of the, I don't know how you call that, out of the MDF, it's so satisfying. That is, I think, my favorite part, and I just hope nothing breaks, because that would really upset me. But yeah, that was that was the main part of my year. Finishing my thesis, I actually got a really good grade for the end result, and more importantly, I'm really happy with the end result. And then my friend who I did it with, I hope she is happy with it too. I'm sometimes not really sure. But yeah, then after we finished that, I started working at the company where I did my degree at. If you don't know, I did a degree where you study half of the time and you work half of the time, and then you get paid for the time that you're studying. So it's kind of like an apprenticeship, but with way more responsibility, and then also with the studying parts where you just study for 3 months straight. And yeah, the company I did my studies with offered me a job, and I took it, and I'm working there right now, which has also been kind of stressful because I got to know the team while I was still writing my thesis, and I got already introduced to them, and I got to start working there before I even finished my degree, which was also very good because I had the smoothest transition ever, and it was really secure that I got the job. And yeah, that's all been really positive, even though it is only a contract until the end of next year. But I'm still pretty happy about it because it really gives me a good start into kind of the working life again. Not that I wasn't working before, I did already do basically the same job at the company while I was studying, but now I get better pay and don't have to go to university anymore. But obviously with that also comes more responsibility, and yeah, and I'm working there as a UX designer right now. And the nicest part was actually after that, because I finally got free time again. I can finally have hobbies again. I can finally film videos again, do more on YouTube, read more, spend more time doing the stuff that I love. And yeah, I actually went to London again a few days ago. I came back from London from my trip there, and I already filmed a video about that as well. So yeah, just a lot of exciting things happening. And oh god, I just thought I broke it. I didn't break it. Yeah, just time again for all of my hobbies. And oh shoot, I kind of did break it. Oops. Yeah, I fixed it. It's fine. It's all fine. Oh my god. This is a bit scary. I have no clue what I'm doing here, but this is how it looks so far. And another great thing that happened this year, and I know some people will probably be like, what the hell? Why is that so important? But to me it was really important. I actually got to go to the Eras tour, and that was definitely the highlight of my year. And I think no matter how the year would have turned out otherwise, this would have made my whole year. It was just so nice. I had the best time. I went there with 2 really good friends, and we got to go to one of the Munich shows in Germany, and that was actually the one where everybody turned up on the hills, and that made the news everywhere. And it's like one of those pretty memorable tour moments, and that actually is so cool and nice, and I had the best time there. It was one of the best nights of my life, just because of not Taylor Swift in particular, but just the whole vibe that the concert had. All of the people were so kind. Everybody was nice. I didn't see anyone who shoved people, who screamed. I didn't think people were annoying with their phones or anything, like I experienced it last year with the Harry Styles concert, where people were constantly doing TikToks. And even though the Eras tour was getting live streamed as well, people just weren't that annoying with it. People were being really polite, and yeah, all of the fan moments and all of the chants and just everything was so nice, and people were so supportive. I think the concert was organized pretty well. They gave out a lot of free water because it was very hot. It was in the middle of summer. I think they managed it pretty well, even though people complained. But of course, people are going to complain. It's Germany, that's all we do. People in front of me in the crowd, and that was the first time that ever happened to me at a concert, because I'm not the tallest person. People in front of me were actually asking me if I could see, and I've never ever experienced that in a concert before. And that was just so nice. Everybody was so supportive. We traded friendship bracelets, of course. And there were some children who traded bracelets with me, and the cutest thing. I hope they have the best memories of this concert. And yeah, it was just really magical, and I just wish I could go again. I watched the live streams a lot when they were still going in Europe. Now I can't really do that anymore, because in the US, it's for me then in the middle of the night, but sometimes I still do it, even though that's really not smart. It just gives me so much joy, and I think it's never a bad thing to pursue the things that you enjoy, unless it's something really bad. I don't think it's too unreasonable to enjoy this tour and spend time watching the live streams. Grown up enough now that I turned 29 that I can finally decide that myself. And that is just something that is so cool about being an adult. You can just make all of the decisions, and you can just decide to just watch a random live stream, I don't know, that starts at 2 a.m. in the night, and you can just do that if you want to, and nobody's going to tell you no, and you're the one who has to deal with the consequences. And yeah, sometimes things like that are just worth it. And now I'm also really enjoying the time that I have now that I don't study anymore, and I'm actually really enjoying fall and the Christmas season. It's been really nice. I think fall is probably my favorite season, and then Christmas kind of as well. Just I loved Christmas as a child, and I love it now. And I just love all of the decorations, and that is my favorite part of winter. After that, it really goes downhill a bit when January comes around and everything starts to get really dark and just no Christmas lights are up anymore. And yeah, it just gets really long, really dark. Because here right now it gets dark around 4:30, and that is really early. But right now I'm still enjoying it all. And I have like some plans for my YouTube channel that I really want to work on, and I want to really work hard on that in December. I know I don't have to do it, but I still want to. It really brings me a lot of joy right now, and that's why I want to continue doing it. And yeah, just a lot of good things in my life right now that I'm really grateful for. And of course, I also read some really good books this year. I think the first one that really had a big impact on me was The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. It was pretty early this year that I read this one, and it was just so good. I think I talked about it in different videos up until now. So I hope I'm not repeating myself too much with that, but it was just really nice to read that. And it was one of the first romances in a long time that had a lot of story to it, and it was more focused on the storyline again. And that was something that I really enjoyed in that, and I think I'm slowly realizing all of the things that I like in romances and why I might enjoy some more than others. And that one was definitely one that taught me that, and that made me realize I really like romances where it's not just about the romance, but there has to be some kind of storyline and character development. And I think that's not really like this mind-blowing revelation that I had, but something that many people like in romances. And I'm trying to look out for romances more that have this now. And it's really nice to just getting to know your own taste better. I really like the different aspects in this book. For one, the magical realism in it I enjoyed a lot. I like the storyline about how time played a role in the meeting of the two main characters, how they saw each other again after a long or a short time, however you might see it, and just the connection between them was really, you could really feel that very well throughout the book, and it was just really emotional. And I think I want to read more books by Ashley Poston. I read one of their other books for my fall video, The Dead Romantics is the one that I read, and I really like that as well. And I think they brought out a different book this year, a novel love story, I think is what it's called, and I definitely want to check that one out as well in the next year. I don't think I can do that anymore this year, because I have a pretty long TBR. Then the next book that really stood out to me, I don't know if I would call it a favorite, but it really was something that touched me a lot, was On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Wong. I read this when I traveled to Vietnam earlier this year, pretty much in the beginning. I think it was in February or March. This book really touched me deeply because it is literary fiction, but it really feels more like a memoir. Yeah, it's just really, really good. It's almost written like poetry, and it reads like poetry at points, and it really deals with some interesting and important themes, also really relevant right now, I would say, about immigration to the US, about culture and identity and what that entails, and growing up with just a different background from all of the people around you, and then also what it means for the older generations of immigrants that are not as well adjusted as the children, and how that impacts the children then as well. And yeah, also themes of domestic violence, themes of growing up gay when you're in a culture that doesn't teach you about what that even means, and how to love even if you didn't grow up in a very loving household in the sense of showing love, and what impact that might have on your relationships. And just so many themes, so many layers in this one book that were all very interesting, and yeah, just a lot of stuff to think about. Oh, great, now I have to use the glue. That's going to be interesting. So we just built the stairs. That's going to be so cute in the end. So that was the second book. Then I think the next book that I read that had more of a lasting impact on me was Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellos. That was such a wild ride, and throughout most of the book I had no idea if I would like this or not, and even in the end I was like really torn, and then I gave it 5 stars. I think it's one of those books where you don't agree with a lot of the things that the main character does, but it still impacts you a lot and you still think about it a lot. It was definitely a book about very messy relationships and about how sometimes, even if you love someone, it just doesn't work out and you're not good for each other, and it can become toxic really quickly. And yeah, that was really interesting and I enjoyed reading it a lot. Also very interesting side characters and different storylines and plot points that we dove into, and it also deals a lot with mental illness and how even if you seem to be perfect to somebody else and you seem to have everything to some people, you can still be very miserable and you can still struggle a lot. There are, of course, a lot of things to be said about this book, also about white supremacy in it, and yeah, just many thoughts and feelings, and a lot of disturbing scenes in this book. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing here. I've never done this before, and yeah, I don't know how this works, and I have to say the explanations in this are lacking a bit because it doesn't really tell me exactly what to do, and I tend to just go for it, which is not always the best idea, but we're going to do it anyway. Especially gluing stuff together when you have no idea what you're doing is, yeah, I don't know. I did something. I'm not sure if it's what I was supposed to be doing, but yeah, I guess it's done now. And I also talked about this book a little bit more in my last book haul, the large book haul one. And what I also talked about in this book haul was Funny Story by Emily Henry. Also one of my favorite romances this year, just like the one by Ashley Poston. That one was really, really good. It was really gripping. It just did a lot for me at the time because I really needed like a quick, fast-paced, emotional romance that also had a lot of backstory for the main characters, and that was just exactly what I needed. And if you don't know what Funny Story is about, it's basically about 2 people who just got dumped by their fiancés, and their fiancés are now in a relationship, and so they have to basically move in with each other, and that is just not the best situation to start off getting to know each other, but still they kind of, after some initial problems, really start liking each other and really start spending a lot of time with each other. And yeah, that's how they get to know each other and how they eventually then also start developing feelings for each other, because she is a librarian and he kind of tries to convince her to stay in this town as well. And I just thought that was so cute. He put in so much effort, and there were some miscommunications in this, but not in a really bad way, I think. And that is something, because to make miscommunication work, you have to be really good. And for me, it worked, at least. I have no clue where I have to continue with this. I can't find the right thesis. So let's just continue with the next book. The next book that I enjoyed a lot was Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. And that book really came as a surprise to me because I didn't expect anything from this. I just thought like, oh, this is another one of these TikTok hype books, blah, blah, blah. And not that that's a bad thing, but I just didn't expect it to be so touching and so emotional for me. And I realized that I really enjoy books about music and about musicians. And I mean, I've read quite a few more like rock star kind of romances, but this is more classical music, and I also enjoyed that a lot. And it was also a lot about the process of making music and creating that, and about fame, and about two people who compete with each other, then actually also admiring each other for their respective crafts and for the things that they are able to do. And yeah, that was just really nice and really well done. And it's just very different from the other books that I just mentioned and all of the books that I just talked about, because it doesn't have the same kind of depth to it. But on the other hand, it doesn't always have to be that deep. This is deep on another level, I think, more on the emotional level, on the connection between the characters. Yeah, and I just really liked it. I just can't seem to find the right pieces here. I don't know. Think I'm also getting a bit tired. I think I found it. It was in this bag. Wait, but why is this more complicated than I thought it was going to be? That is not fair. It actually says, it says in the description which one it is. Oh god. I'm just getting too tired. Well, what I was kind of talking about earlier was that I'm now in a place where I'm really kind of happy with the situation I'm in right now. But I also wanted to talk briefly about like, I'm happy where I am right now, but obviously not everything is good right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world that really is upsetting to me, and I don't want to brush it off and just say like, oh, I'm in a good place right now, so I'm doing good and everything is well. It's not. I'm actually quite affected by it and by just the current state of the world and what's happening everywhere and just all of the political situations that are going on. And not by any means trying to say that I have it hard or that I'm looking for sympathy or anything. Of course not. I know that I'm in a very privileged position, but still I care about it all and I have empathy for all of the people that are affected. And yeah, it just makes me very, very sad and very angry at the same time that there isn't really more that I can do, and that you just feel so helpless at times and like you don't hold any power, and then there are some random men around the world who get to decide, and it's just really these singular people, because I don't think people in general are bad at any side, and it's just some people who get to decide and are responsible for basically the fate of so many people on the world, and it will impact so many lives, what's going to happen in the next few years. And it's really, really scary that you're just sitting there waiting for things to happen, for bad things to happen actually. So yeah, that's something that I'm really struggling with right now, and also kind of in a personal sense of what do I even want to do with my life in the next few years. And how are the political situations going to affect me and affect the way that I plan my life and what I want to do and how I want to live? And is that even possible? Is that even responsible in times like these? And it's just really all messing with my head. And yeah, I just thought I would open up about this too, because I wanted to tell you about like the positive things that are going on in my life and all of the good that happened to me this year, and I'm really, really grateful for it. But also then that there are not just good sides to any life really. think everybody has their own struggles, and for me it's that one right now, that I just don't know what to do and how to live my life, and kind of have to make decisions at one point or another. I mean, I can wait for like a year or so and just see what's going to happen and try to stay at my job right now and kind of wait and see how everything is going to develop. But then you have to, at some point, make certain decisions, and like even just questions of where do I want to live for the rest of my life. And of course, you don't have to know that, and you don't have to make a decision for life. But at the same time, you kind of maybe want to settle down, or maybe decide not to settle down at all and just go with the flow and do whatever. But yeah, kind of really depends on what's going to happen and how that will impact all of our lives. And it's just so many things to take into consideration that just make it really hard to think about your own future and what all of this might mean. And you know, you don't want to plan your future thinking about worst case scenarios, but at the same time it kind of would also be irresponsible not to do that. And yeah, it's just all really fucked up, to be honest, and I don't know how to deal with it, and I'm kind of just really avoiding a lot of thoughts about that right now, but I know that it's not a good way to deal with it long term. And yeah, there's this weird balance you have to find between staying informed and staying aware of stuff, and then also not letting it overwhelm you and get to you too much emotionally. And yeah, so I'm kind of in between stuff that is personally for me going pretty well, and then also having this existential dread about the future. And then coping with a lot of escapism, which is also why I think content like YouTube and BookTube especially is important, and it has helped me a lot to cope with the stuff that's going on, because you actually find silly stuff like this that can really make you happy for a while. And I don't think that's a bad thing, and I don't think that people should be, I don't know, sometimes it all sounds so stupid and so silly if you're talking about it to someone and you're trying to explain like, oh yeah, and I read a lot of books and they're all about these silly things. And but it's not that really. It really makes you reflect at times on the state of the world, and there are books that can really help you cope with that in that sense, and that really kind of mirror our thoughts, and that can help us actually identify problems in our society and stuff like that. Like the video I made about being angry about women's rights and stuff. So there are books that have that purpose for me right now, and then there are also books that have a purpose, the sense of just being pure escapism and just making me really happy in the moment. And that is also really valid and important. And somebody tells you that reading romance books is stupid, or reading any kind of books for entertainment purposes is stupid, then I'm really sorry for them, because finding ways to cope with your feelings and your emotions is never something that is stupid, that you should be ashamed of. And creating stuff like this little dog, if that just gives me 1 minute of joy in my life, then why shouldn't I do it? Why should people be allowed to make me feel like that's not worth it, or that it's not something serious, something that I shouldn't be doing? So yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect this all to get so deep, and so I don't know. I actually thought this video was going to be about a very different topic, but just books and building this thing. But apparently we've gone in a different direction, and that's also maybe because it's like 1 a.m. on a random weeknight and I'm getting really tired. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it for tonight, and I'm going to give you like a finished look on this whenever I decide to finish it, or maybe not if I don't get to finish it in time. But either way, this has been really fun, and I've rambled quite a bit, but I still hope you enjoyed me talking about all of this stuff. Maybe you're kind of dealing with some of the same stuff at the moment, or you're interested in hearing about somebody just talking about their life. I don't know. Anyways, thank you for listening to me talk about this for so long. I really appreciate you being here. I will see you in my next video, I guess. Bye!